Well, first off, look at the state of this. Again, this isn't the one I glued. That's the one I glued together. Whoever made these boots didn't use very much glue. Anyway, I got another little project here. I'm still doing that lawn boy. But this come up. I saw this. I was looking for parts. Well, to tell you the truth, I just typed in 2-stroke lawnmower. Anyway, I was looking for parts, and this came up, and it was in Tunbridge. Now that's about it's about an hour and a half drive for me. So I took a nice little drive, and I got this for £13.50, which is fantastic, man. Really good. Really happy with it. It's got terminal issues though. Apparently, I haven't started it up yet. But the bloke who had it, he's a very nice bloke. He was a very nice bloke. Turned up there, and he showed me everything. I'll show you in a minute. Showed me everything. He had it from brand new. Bought it in 1980, brand spanking new from the garden centre. And he told me the whole story about he specifically wanted a 2-stroke mower and all this rubbish. Not rubbish, good stuff. And yeah, so he's had it from brand new, but he's told me all the stories about how it's had little problems, and you see in a minute. Oh, he's got his address on there. That's his address. He gave me all this stuff. He said parcels delivered. He's got his address on there, but it's in Kent where I got it from, and Tunbridge Wells. So I got this mower here, and it's got terminal issues. Now he did say that he's put new points on it. I mean, we'll have a look through this in a minute, but I know you'll want to see if it's going to start. Apparently it does start, but it's got terminal issues where once it gets hot, it starts to knock, and then if you leave it running, it'll eventually stop running. Whether he means it'll seize up, and then, or if he just means it will just conk out, or it'll lose power and then eventually conk out, I don't know. He says he's put new points on it, he's put a new plug in it, he's rebuilt the carburetor, and it still won't run properly. He says it knocks after it gets hot. So it sounds like it's got terminal issues. He's done, oh, hello, bit out of focus. He's done loads of little things to it. We've got a little bag here with the old spark plug in it, the air filter, which I'm assuming is not attached, not in there. It's got the model number and everything. We'll have a look at that in a minute. I want to see if it's going to start. I want to see what it runs like when it does start, because he says it will run, but just not for very long and not very well. So I'm going to see if it's going to run, see if it's going to, see what it's actually like before we delve into this. I mean, it's still got it's got all these parts that he's bought. He even gave me a DVD that he's written on it, Tech Mesh. Apparently this is a PDF file that he has compiled himself of all the parts that he's put on this mower since he bought it in 1980. We've got a little bag of parts there that we'll have a look at in a minute. Here is the original manual. And the little booklet, Mountfield, look, see, the original one. So we'll definitely be going and having a look through that in this video, that's for sure. Some of you may be interested in that. This is going to be a little bit of a series, I'm not going to lie. Some of you don't like series, I've just discovered, but I'm doing a series on the Lawn Boy, and I didn't expect to start another series, but why not, eh? Why not? So I'm going to be starting another series on this little Mountfield, because I don't think it's going to be a simple one video job. I think it's going to be more of a long process. Probably going to have to get some parts, probably going to have to rebuild the engine, if it's as he says it is. But to assess first, we're going to start it up now, see what it's like, then we'll have a look through here, and depending on what it actually runs like, will determine whether you get one video or if it's going to be a series. At this point, I don't know. But let's go and get some petrol, put a bit of petrol in it, and see how it actually runs, if it runs. Well, put a little bit of petrol in it. I put bloody rich as rich, that is. That's going to be rich as hell. That's probably 16 to 1 or more. It's going to be really smoky if it does run. But if he says it starts to, knock and all that, I want to make sure that I don't do any more damage than is necessary. But there's no point I've learnt my lesson in the time. Over the years, I've learned my lesson. Don't always go by what other people say. Yeah, whether it's with vacuum cleaners or whatever. This bloke was perfectly amicable. Sounded like he knew what he was talking about. But if someone says something and you don't, and you just go on, act on their words, you could be spending money and time on things you didn't need to do. He says it knocks and stops running after a while. It might not be knocking. It might be a carb issue. It might be a fueling issue. It might not be terminal engine damage. You don't know until you start it up and see what happens. But I'm going to run it rich and see what, if it does run, and see what exactly happens. Definitely got compression. It does sound very knocky. Right, put a little bit of this carb spray in there. I'm not entirely sure if I've got that valve around the right way. I'm assuming that'll be on. I might not have it on. See what it's going to be like now. Does knock a little bit, doesn't it? I don't know what that is. What that knocking is a mystery to me at the moment. Bear in mind the air filter is off of it. Yeah, there's a bit of a knock there, isn't there? This might be a bit terminal after all, eh? We'll have a look. Now the trouble that I might face is, the trouble that I might genuinely face is getting parts for it. Will I be able to get crank bearings? Will I be able to get top end bearing, you know, small end bearing, big end bearing? Will I be able to get any of that kind of stuff? But we'll have to see what it is. There's definitely a knock in there. But now we know that it does actually run. So let's have a look to see what we can find in this manual. All the little parts and bits and bobs. Alright, here we've got the DVD, the PDF file that he compiled for me. We've got a little bit of paper here. What does this say? Meadowbrook. Oh, it's just a thing. This was the air filter that I took out of it a minute ago in order to stick the old carb spray up in the carb there. Bit of a dirty filter. It's obviously got some spares in this little thing there. So let's put that there. What should we go through first? Let's go through this little bag first that he's put here. So we've got another spare air filter there, bit of a cleaner one. Another spare air filter, so we've got plenty of spare filters. This must be the old plug, the one that he must have taken out, I suppose. Yeah, that's been used. So that's an old plug. It is an old plug as well. It's definitely an old plug. Probably the original. Wouldn't surprise me if it was, to tell you the truth. Alright, so we'll stick that back in there. I love it when people keep... It's a BMR6A. I love it when people keep all the old parts, like old plugs and things that they take off of stuff. This is the little rating, like a rating plate thingamajig, you know. So hopefully you can see that. Is it too shiny? That's probably about right. Mountfield Limited, made in England. That's a good thing, isn't it? Model, emblem, You can't read some of that. 81305 type blah blah blah. Just tells you everything you need to do it. That you need to, not that you need to do, but everything you need to know. It does tell you how much oil. 25 to 1, 4%. You need to put in that old petrol there. So that was what was in there. And then what should we go through next? I think we'll save the original manual for last, and we'll go through. Oh, don't want to show his address. We'll go through his little bag of parts that he gave me. What we got here? We got a spring, probably something to do with the throttle, and then we got a couple of bolts, old bolts, and it looks like the top of a bolt head or something there. Looks like an original part as well. Don't know how old that is. These are all the parts that he's put on in the lifetime that he's had the mower, apparently. So right up to the present day of whenever he's stopped trying to get it to go. We seem to have a little bag with a little pin of some kind in there. Don't know what that's for yet. Maybe the float, maybe a float pin. This is just an empty bag. It doesn't appear to have anything in it, so I don't know why he's kept that. And then we've got a gasket. It's an old gasket, so he's kept the old gasket. It's looks like maybe a carb gasket. Could be an exhaust manifold gasket, but he's kept the old gasket for that. This is the old. Oh, for some reason we've got two different plugs, and this is an old plug and an old set of points. He changed the points, he said. Treated it to a new set of points because he thought it might fix the issue with it running rough. So we've got the old plug. Now that's probably more likely to be the original plug. Look how it's painted black. The fact that it's painted black, or it was painted black anyway, means that that's probably the original plug. I don't know what this one is because they're two different plugs, but anyway, maybe he bought that one and put it in or whatever. Might be an equivalent, I don't know. So what else have we got here? We got, oh well, that is, looks like some little washers and O-rings and things. Carburetor. So it's obviously something to do with the carb, I would say. I don't know, but some more parts there. It's quite interesting. Another little pin. They look like a little float pin to me. Made in Czech Republic. I'd say there's probably a little pin for the float. So that's all we got in there then. So what I'm going to do to keep these safe, well, I'll probably need that old gasket or whatever, but keep these safe. It is nice to keep old parts, you know, but then you end up with a big bag of old bits and bobs if you, oh, that's the old rating plate, right, mustn't lose that. Let's have a look now at the part that is really interesting, because you don't often get this with many things, let alone a lawnmower. Since when do you get the original manuals with a lawnmower? Most people lose them. You've even got the original spanner in there, look. So, we've got the little thing. This would have been cable tied to the handle when he bought it. And then the first thing to come out is the little booklet. It'll tell you. The one we got is an 85S, I do believe. I believe that it's an 85S. Looking at it, you can't see on the top of the motor, it's been worn off a little bit. 2-stroke. So that's the engine we've got there. Not that one, that one. So, having a look through here, you can see the way that they used to compile manuals is much better. Look at the font, look at the writing, look at the way, I know that's not in English, but look at the way it's all written out. So we got a date on here when this was made. No date there. I don't think we're going to have a date on it. Maybe one right at the back. Printed in Italy. So we know it's printed in Italy. So anyway, this is the original instruction manual. We seem to have in here as well a spring of some kind for something. Don't know what that's for. Maybe Maybe I'll find out in due course, who knows. So we've got, I wonder if this, this is the receipt. This is the receipt of where he bought it from. I wonder if we'll have the price on here. He's probably got rid of the price. But he bought it in Kent from something Garden Machinery. There's no price on here. Plus parts and VAT. There's no price on there. I was hoping we'd have a price for that receipt. That'll tell you how to start it probably. Notice, your emblem has been built with an air-cooled 2-stroke engine, not the 4-stroke engine. Brilliant. Fuel. Use oil and petrol 2-stroke mixture. Follow closely engine manufacturer instructions. Serious engine damage will occur if operated on petrol only. Look at that. It's wonderful, and it's in all different languages as well. And then, this appears to be, what's this? Another bit of a manual. Probably just tells you how to use it. Safety precautions, description, engine operation and maintenance, simple fault finding. Yeah, engine knocking. May be able to find part numbers, but probably not. But that's what we've got. Oh, and don't forget what else we've also got in amongst all of this is, it's in a separate compartment, an original spanner. Since when do you get them? You don't get them anymore. Well, you probably do get little spanners with mowers if you buy them new, but you definitely don't find them in second-hand ones with the little booklet and all your instruction manuals plus a load of spare parts. Most people just throw them away straight away. All the manuals and everything always gets lost. So there won't be anything else on this video. This video will just be looking at them things, because I was quite amazed that we actually got the original instruction manual with it. But we know that it does run, and we know that it runs. It's got a bit of a knock. I don't know what that knock is. It might be the blade. I wonder if the blades is a bit loose, knocking around under there. I don't know. Might start it up again and just have another listen. What do you reckon? No knocking when it's a bit more. It's only when the revs are low. It'll go now. So I reckon we've got our big end bearing that's gone. That's what I'm guessing. What's your guess? That's what I'm going to guess. We're going to strip it all apart in the next video. Well, first of all, what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and source, because I might as well, if I'm going to take it apart, I might as well just rebuild it anyway. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in taking it apart and putting it back together with old parts. So my plan is to go and try and source new bearings or bushies or whatever this takes. Try and source new stuff, probably get a new piston, probably go the whole way. Put new seals in it, new everything. If I can source all of them, then I'm going to strip it apart and we'll replace it all in one video. But if not, if I can't find them, I'm going to have to take it apart, take out the ones that are in it and then go somewhere to see if I can find equivalents or something similar. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to find the right parts and just order them, get them, and do it all in one go. So that's the plan anyway. I don't like saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but, you know, it's handy for some of you lot to know, because you can look out for the video in the future if you like that sort of thing. Brilliant. I'm really happy with it, even if I can't find the right parts. I've got quite a solid mower. I can probably find another engine for it. Maybe I can find another engine. I'd rather not. I'd rather rebuild this one. Keep the originality of it and a bit of fun anyway, rebuilding a two-stroke is the most simplest thing you can do in life. It's just incredibly simple. So this is what we've got. Very nice. And I think it's definitely the 85S. AV85S, that says there. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Oh, don't forget, I'm trying not to push it too much, but if I do get the 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so we're in the 6th month now, I think, June we're in anyway, at the moment, so if I can get 10,000, yeah, 10,000 by the end of this year, so by the end of December this year, I will be giving away a camcorder. But you've got to be, you know, the terms and conditions are not written down anywhere, I'm telling you. You've got to be fairly active, you've got to be subscribed for a while, you've got to be fairly active in the comments, not a load of rubbish. I've got a lot of people recently putting a load of rubbish in, just putting stuff for, you know, oh, that was amazing, come check out my video. And that's not going to get you in, that's just commenting a load of rubbish. And the thing is, those comments get put in my spam folder, and I don't see them anyway until I go and check the spam folder. So, but you've got to be, yeah, you've got to be active, got to be subscribed for a while, blah blah blah. If I get 20,000, which ain't going to happen by the end of this year anyway. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I'm not that optimistic. If the subscribers are going up the rate that they are, there's not enough physical time in 6 months to get right up to 20. 10 is more realistic. I'm at just about 5,000 at the moment. So, thanks everyone that has subscribed and still is, and who watches and everything. It's really good, I really appreciate it. Been getting a lot of positive feedback recently, so that's all good and dandy. But I'm looking forward to giving away a camcorder, so come on man, let's get the 10,000 by the end of this year. 20,000 by the end of this year, you will be getting a motorbike given away, but that ain't gonna happen, so I ain't got to worry about that. Not by the end of this year anyway, but I will still like to give something away. You know, we'll have a 20,000 one. We got to when you make goals, you got to do them realistic. 10,000, brilliant. And then 20, brilliant, and up and up and up. So the goal is 10,000 by the end of this year, and you'll win a camcorder. Well, you've got a chance anyway.